So what are you, like a Portuguese fucking asshole from Oklahoma?
Major, so we got back to it. Yes, he thinks I'm from Point Loma. I don't.
You ought
I
to
don't
be.
know why?
Because you're a pompous ass.
I keep it player while some choose to play it safe. Watch check the resume is risky business in the AA. And I've been witness to this history.
Boy, what is the hardest thing about trying out new material? Was the question asked. It bombing, I would say. That's tough. That's too tough for most people to deal with, I feel like. I mean, everyone at first, like when you start out doing rooms like this, we're here at Winston's, like it's it could be tough mentally. Like you get off stage and you're like, you start to doubt it, the material, and it's not always your fault. I mean, sometimes it is. You gotta try new shit. Sometimes new stuff doesn't work. But I think it's developing that skill to be like, regardless of how the set goes, regardless of how the audience responds to it, I just got to keep trying it because it's trial by error, and the only way you're going to find out something works is doing it.
The hardest thing about trying out material is just confidence in it. I feel like that's like I'll write down a joke and be like, oh, maybe this is good, but then it doesn't translate well on stage because I'm like really nervous about it and really shaky about it. So I mean, that's the hardest part. I think it's important to realize that it's funny, like trust your stuff. Like that's probably the most important thing you can do, but just have confidence in it. That's definitely the hardest thing about new material.
New material is tough. I do. The hard thing about doing new material is I always do it in front of nobody, like at Winston's or like an open mic where there's nobody there. So you can't tell if the joke's actually good or not. And when a joke hasn't been done in front of like an actual crowd, sometimes a good joke can seem really bad. Or a bad joke can just randomly get a laugh because the guy's drunk or something.
There are always jokes that I've had jokes that I have only told in the last 6 months that I've been thinking about telling for 3 years for that very reason, that I'm just worried about how the reaction's gonna be. Like I still like try to break out this joke that always bombs and never doesn't bomb about me saying how like I'm like an asshole, and like every relationship I've been in, like the girl has always broken up with me, and I'm like 100% okay with that. Like it's cool, I am with that. And that took me a while to even want to say on stage. Like I'm like, that's somewhat vulnerable, telling a group of people I don't know, hey, every relationship I've been in, the girl has always broken up with me.
I've had, yeah, there's been new material I've been scared to try out. I'm working on a bit about going to it through the airport, and it's a story that I've had in my head for like weeks, and I just started doing it on stage like a couple days ago, and it didn't go over well, so now I'm like really scared to try it out again. But I think if I work at it, do it in like 3-minute chunks at open mics, I can get it down. But yeah, there's that, and there's another bit I'm working on about bears, and I just never really got up to doing it because I know like it's one of those bits where you have to follow the logic. Like the logic is really weird throughout the whole way through, so you have to be with me the whole time. And so I'm really scared to try it out because I know if I lose an audience, then I have like a 3-minute bit where no one's laughing and everyone's just really confused.
I mean, I have a few jokes that are, there's just a lot of different scattered ideas that don't make enough sense together. But I keep the ideas around in my head, bring it together. I mean, I always do it just because, I mean, there's time to do it. But that's the only time I get really nervous these days, when I'm not sure if the joke is going to go at all. But generally, after I've done it like 2 or 3 times, I kind of have a feeling, you know, whether it's going to do okay.
If there's a lot of good comics at a show, then yeah, I'll do what I think is my best material. Yeah. Because I want the comics to look at me as one of them. You know, like I'm still new to this. Like I want, like it'd be nice if they respected me, right? Because right now they have no reason to. I'm still just doing only open mics and maybe the odd show here or there. But if I'm ever on a show with like some really good comics, then yeah, I'll fucking bring it, because I want them. I mean, it's nice to have the respect of the community. Like it really is. So I mean, it'll get you more shows.
Yeah.
I have kind of a schedule. I start off on like a Thursday night or a Wednesday night. Just usually start a new 3-minute set, and then try to hammer it out throughout the whole week leading up to Tuesday night, which is kind of the big night for me. That Tuesday night's the American Comedy Company open mic, which is the that's the biggest crowd, and it's the one where I feel like kind of getting the best gauge of the material.
What was the question? Any other thoughts? I mean, I already talked about it, but don't be afraid to do it. Just do a joke regardless of what's the worst that's gonna happen. It bombs, like whatever. No one's gonna remember you told that shitty joke in like a week from now. And yeah, you know, Wolpert's making some motions off camera about like slitting your wrist. Sometimes it feels like that after a joke that's bad, but I think that's why you just gotta go out there and put in the reps, because every time it gets less bad. To the point where eventually you're just like, you could bomb super hard. Like, I went on stage tonight and told a story about how this dude in front of me driving today hit a dog and killed the dog, and I got out to help it, and I was holding this little dog as it like died in my arms today, and I knew there wasn't anything like funny about it yet, but it happened like 2 hours ago. I had to go on stage and talk about it, and it bombed, but I was pretty comfortable with it bombing, because you just gotta have a comfort level on stage and just be like, you know what, getting laughs isn't always the most important thing. Sometimes you just gotta get the rhythm of the joke, get it out. So don't be scared, everybody. Do that new material. That's my message if you're gonna take away a theme from this.
It's just important to just keep doing it. Like, especially at our stage, since we're just open micers, like, we need to just keep on doing it so something hits, right? Because honestly, we don't know, I feel like I don't know, like, what bits, like, I really identify with unless I do them. So, like, it's just something that I need to keep doing, just keep writing, keep getting those bits on stage. And just, I mean, new material, especially at our stage, is crazy important to have, like, always.
All right, man, that's it. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
We went from rock and brace to temp phase. I twist my A-head to the side just for style. Or throw on the Gucci bucket with the fly, super fly.
I like this. Hot chick walks by, sees you filming me, and she's like, oh, who's this guy? This guy's important. When in reality, I'm just me.
Isn't that the best though? Like, is that one of your goals in comedy, is to have groupies one day?
Is one of my goals in comedy to have groupies one day, is what I believed you asked. Yes, absolutely. I mean, obviously it's not at the top of the list. It's not why I do this, but I would be lying if I didn't say that that's not obviously one of the added like perks. Like, if you have a really good set, you get off stage and you have that, you know, that moment where you're kind of like a little elevated celebrity before people just realize, oh, you're just a dude that works at a bookstore and does open mics and stuff. But no, that's definitely one of the perks. I think a lot of comics, you know, want to work to that point eventually. Even lady comics. I don't want to set up a double standard. Some of them want to get slammed out, probably. Yeah. And they could pick whoever they want to slam them out anyway. So,
even if they bomb.
Yeah. So dude comics, yeah, it's a plus for us, I would say. And ladies. I don't want to sound sexist.